Juan Carlos Medina.
So I'm going to ask a couple of questions first. One, obviously, where did the inspiration come from for the story?
Well, there was two things. No, there was first. Sorry, I wanted to tell a story about how human beings cope with pain, with this single fact of human life. That is how we cope with pain, how we cope with evil, and I didn't want to make an abstract movie about this, so when I found out about this disease, this syndrome of insensitivity to pain with anhidrosis, I thought it was a perfect metaphor to go into that time in Spanish history and tell this story about how we grow and how we face pain in a very physical and visceral way. And the other side was I wanted to make a movie about how the past infects the present, even through the ages, without us really knowing or noticing, and how your life can be affected by who your parents were, who your grandparents were, what they went through in their lives, and how this infects your life, even if you didn't know them and you never knew what they went through. So that's it.
At last night's screening, someone brought up an interesting fact about the situation currently in Spain with the stolen babies. Can you talk about that story and how that kind of plays into this?
Yes. Well, in the recent years, hundreds of thousands of people in Spain, I found out that they weren't their parents' biological sons. And then they started investigating, and they discovered that they had been stolen, no, to their real parents. And this very evil practice started just in the aftermath of the Civil War. There was a whole organization that took the babies from Republican prisoners, and then they shot them, and this was with the complicity of some organizations from the dictatorship, and they changed all the papers, and they gave the babies to families who supported the regime. So there was this kind of this happened during lots of years and to many people. So it's kind of my father, for instance. My grandmother was 11 when the Civil War ended, and her parents had been executed during the attack of the fascists to Mérida and Badajoz. So she was left as an orphan at the end of the war, and she had my father a few years after, and my father never knew his real father, and he was educated by somebody else, and then he had a lot of guilt all his life, so it was kind of something like that.
And I just want to ask you, where did you get the actor who played Volcano? Very unusual looking actor.
Yes, this is Thomas Lemarquis. He's an Icelandic actor who I found in a movie called No Albino. It's a movie about a guy who is an outcast who has a very strange appearance. And basically, I thought that he himself suffered from a sort of genetic ailment when he was a teenager, so he lost all his hair, so he doesn't have any hair at all, not even the face, eyebrows, etc. So, this very strange appearance, uncanny appearance, and also his great talent as an actor really decided me to have him in the movie.
It's incredibly blinding here. Do we have any questions from the audience? Let's see. If we have them, just yell them out. So many people. Yes, here on the side.
The credits actually, it seemed that there are two brothers,
Yes.
main actors, so is that like the little brother of the...
Yeah.
In the credits, there were two actors who were brothers.
Yes, actually, well, the big difficulty with the casting of the two lead roles of the children were that I needed them in two different ages, because we see this arc where they grow. So it was very complicated, because I needed, Thomas was already attached to the film, so I needed a kid that would look like him. I mean, that would at least sort of have the same energy than him. And also, of course, who was a great child actor, which is not easy to find. And there was one more variable, was that I had to find this boy at 11 and at 6. So, so when I first, after seeing hundreds of children, I saw Maud, the 11-year-old, and it was pretty funny, because he's an Australian kid. He's from Australia, so, but he had these incredible eyes, this incredible gaze, and also he had kind of little tics, and he twitched sometimes. So I thought this could be interesting for the movie. Could really bring what this character needs, this kind of when he tips over and he becomes a monster, So, but I didn't really make my mind completely then to have it. I wasn't sure 100%. And then I found out he had a little brother, 6-year-old brother, who looked like him but much more innocent, and who was an incredible actor. We auditioned him too, and it was like a complete natural. It was like an emotional sponge. You would put himself in front of a good actress who projects a lot, and he would suck it up and give it 100 times. It was incredible. So this really, like, I say, okay, it's them.
Who else do we have? Let's see. Shy. Yes.
Perhaps I missed it, was there a significance to the pattern in the stars? It seemed rather artful and planned out, and if you don't see yourself, it seems kind of...
Well, that was we went through a lot of designs, and it was very difficult to find something that was satisfying. Of course, Bergano is, when he's locked in his cell, he becomes a sort of artist on his own body. It's the only thing he has to spend time, and since he has this ability, he doesn't feel pain. He starts drawing on his own body, and it was kind of difficult to find a design that was convincing. So we looked to something organic, and that would delineate like nerves and muscle lines and stuff like that.
Wear the whole suit.
Yes, it was in the end when when he's old, he's wearing a full suit. It's like a synthetic suit, like the makeup. So since we were constrained by the time, we didn't have much time really to shoot the film. This makeup, they took 6 hours to put it, so we didn't have 12 hours to give. We had to shoot 2 days. So basically, he had to go to sleep one night with this makeup, and he did it. So he went back to the hotel the night with like this, and the people at the hotel, they just jumped. And the poor Thomas had a very bad night there. He's sweating in this suit, and it was horrible. And this is the kind of dedicated actor that you really want to work with, because it will go anywhere for the movie, and it's the kind of actor he is. He's a great actor and a great guy.
And
I'd just like to point out that your co-screenwriter on this film is the screenwriter of the fabulous Spanish war film Wreck. So can you talk about how you collaborated with him and how you met up?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I met Luis in 2001 in a short film festival in Madrid, and we both had two shorts, and he had his first short film, I had my second, and I love his film, I love his short film, and I came to him and I told him, I want to be your friend. So, a few years after, when I started writing the first drafts of Painless, I thought I already knew Luis, so I had read some of his scripts. I really liked his world, his mental universe, and we loved the same movies. We loved Total Recall, the original. The movies of that time were great. I mean, and so I went to him and I told him about the idea of Painless, and he said, "Oh my God, it's great, and we have to work together on this." And we started writing the subsequent draft, and then eventually we got to a very satisfying draft together. Yes, sir.
You mentioned that the actors were from Iceland and Australia. Was it difficult communicating with your actors on set because of that?
Was it difficult communicating with your actors on set?
Because of the language barrier.
Well, I mean, I had to direct actors in three different languages. It was a little bit complicated. So Thomas, I directed him in French. The other guys, I mean, most of the actors, the Spanish actors, the Catalan actors, even if they play in Catalan, I directed them in Castilian because I understand perfectly Catalan, but I can't really talk Catalan. And also, of course, the German actors, because I don't speak German, I directed them in English. So it was kind of, sometimes when there was just 2 or 3 actors in a scene, it was okay, but when, in addition to that, you had like 25 extras or 30 extras, and I had to switch the languages, and it was like, sometimes I was like mixing up, and it was kind of crazy.
And there's another question, yes?
I just wondered, such a unique idea, did it come to you all at once, or were there certain parts of the movie that you struggled more with, like, I don't know, ending, middle, was there something that couldn't come to you right away?
No, I mean, I struggle, as I said before, to find the right way to tell the story. I mean, I had ideas and stuff, and to put them together, and have this structure. This is what took time. But once we started to work on the no, it was kind of a sudden. We got suddenly the structure of the movie and how we wanted to tell it, and it was kind of at one stroke. No, yeah. After there was, for instance, the ending. There was several versions that we changed with different options and stuff, but it was basically the same thing. Yeah.
And in the very back there, yes. Were there different options on the endings?
Well, actually, yes. It was always this ending that you see that is really, it's a sort of metaphoric ending. It's not, I mean, what happens is that, of course, this child, he becomes a sort of Frankenstein monster, right? He becomes a personification of all these evils, all these horrors that he's been through. And he sort of builds this kind of hive or cavern with all these concretions of his world. And basically it always was going to be like this, no? But then we had some versions where, I mean, we had a version where the wife didn't die in the end. She was like in coma, and then it came at the end. I mean, Bercano like Snatcher and they. I mean, it was kind of really cheesy and stuff. So we were really. This is the kind of stuff that you think about when you're drunk one night, and then you completely you get rid of it when you're sober and stuff. So.
Well, thank you very much. Let's hear it for Painless.